Today, we're going to be talking, of course, about ethics. And usually when we talk about ethics, we usually start in terms of what is, in fact, a contract itself. In other words, when we sell a life insurance policy, disability policy, whatever, it's always a contract, essentially. And we'll look at the structure of a contract later. But for our purposes now, is who forms actually the parties? Who are the parties to the particular contract? So when we sell a life insurance product or disability insurance, whatever, okay, the first thing obviously is we have the insurer, and the insurer is obviously the insurance company itself. So by default, obviously, there always has to be an insurance company who actually takes on the risk and everything. So the insurer is always there. The insured, on the other hand, could be a policyholder, is another name for the insured, contract owner, things of that nature there. In other words, the insured is the entity, basically, or the individual who has, and this is the important part, has all the contractual rights. In other words, from a fiduciary perspective, from a legal perspective, all of those things there, everything resides with the insured. So that insured can decide who the beneficiary is going to be, whether the policy should be canceled, whether we should increase the premium, decrease the premium, change the beneficiaries, all that sort of stuff there. So the contractual obligation here lies primarily with the insured. So the insured really is the entity that makes the deal, you might say, with the insurer. And so if you're asked on the exam, wherever it is, where does fiduciary responsibility lie? The first level of fiduciary responsibility always lies with the insured. And the insured could be what we call, a person, in other words, a natural person. So you and I obviously are natural persons. But that insured also could be a legal person, in other words, a corporation. So it doesn't have to be that you actually have to have a natural person to own a contract. A corporation can own. So, for example, when we talk about key person insurance, it could be the company XYZ Inc. Owns a policy on my life, let's say, because I am the key person. Okay, so the insured could be a natural person, in other words, a living human being like you and I. Okay, or it could be a legal person, such as a trust, an insurance, a corporation, anything along that line there could be, so be a legal person or a natural person, basically the two kinds of persons that we have, okay? Then the third is the life insured. And the life insured, of course, is the person who we are insuring. So this is the real person. So here, this person, like I said, it could be a legal person, such as a corporation, but you can't life insure a corporation, basically, because the corporations don't die, they don't get disabled, none of that stuff, okay? Life insured people do, okay? So natural person, so obviously a life insured is a natural person. Natural person dies, a natural person becomes disabled, all these. So these are essentially the three parties to the contracts. So you'll notice at the bottom here, I made it very clear, that the beneficiary is not a party to the actual contract. So you'll see that the beneficiary doesn't show up here in any way. So therefore, the beneficiary is simply the person who's going to receive the money, which of course we'll talk about later on in a different session and everything else. But the important thing is that these three entities here are really form the actual contract itself. Now, if basically 2 and 3 are the same, then we refer to it as personal insurance. So in other words, personal insurance, if I buy a policy on myself, I am both the insured and I'm also the life insured. But still, all the contractual obligations always lie with the insured, regardless of that situation. It's always with the insured. So if 2 and 3 are actually the same individual, then it's personal insurance. So obviously I own the insurance policy on myself, okay? On the other hand, if 2 and 3 are a different person, again, it could be a legal person, it could be a natural person, whatever, but they're different. In other words, the names here are different, then it's referred to as third-party insurance. So, for example, if I own a policy on my spouse, I am the insured, and she is the life insured, okay? If you and I were partners, and I owned a policy on you, And so therefore, I am the insured and you are the life insured. You may own a policy on me, so you are now the insured and I am the life insured, you see. So third-party insurance are two different people. Group insurance, for example, is naturally a third-party insured because you got the plan sponsor, XYZ Corp, let's say, sponsors a group insurance plan, and you are the group person insured. In other words, you are the group life insured here. But it's your sponsoring company, the company you're working for, that actually cuts the deal, the contract with the insurance company. So group insurance, by its very nature, is automatically a third-party contract, okay? So third-party usually is when somebody is insuring somebody else, not themselves, somebody else. But still, at the end of the day, as I said, all the contractual obligations here, all the fiduciary responsibilities, all those things there, always lie with the insured. Because this is the entity that really makes the deal with the insurance company. So therefore, your first layer of responsibility always lies with the insured. So you might think of the insured also as your client. Okay, in other words, your first responsibility is always to your client. Okay, well, who's your client? It's not the life insured. It's really always the insured. So even if these two are the same, still the insured is the actual person who you're actually, or entity that you're actually cutting the deal with, you know. So those are the three parties, basically, three parts that makes a contract in terms of life insurance, disability insurance, group insurance, anything along that line. It constitutes basically a contractual obligation all the way through these three entities. Okay, and we will see you next time.